Yes, people. Welcome to Friday Rivals on Usman Talks United. Three guests with me tonight to do some predictions. We're going to be predicting who wins the title, who features in the top four, who are our relegation candidates, and who are our surprise packages. So, from the top, Jerry, good evening, mate. How are you?
Good evening, Steve. I'm all good, man. Obviously, international breaks not the best, but
Oh, it sucks, doesn't it, mate? Absolutely dreadful, isn't it, mate? So
yeah,
tell us a bit about what you've been up to and where we can get you. For the guys that have seen you for the first time, where they can follow you and where they might find you on pods and stuff.
yeah. I'm actually occasionally on Usman's channel. This is my first time actually on the Friday Night Rival show, so it's my debut. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, you can see my Twitter handle on the screen, and obviously on YouTube, got my channel United Team Talk that I do with my brothers, talking all things United as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the show, man.
Okay, so everyone watching and those that do watch now and retrospectively and other people in the room, please drop Jerry a follow and subscribe to his channel. The podcast thing's a community, guys, so we need to support each other. So let's go with that. Ash, good evening, mate. How are you?
Good evening, man. Yeah, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me on.
I'm all right. I think we've been on a pod before, haven't we?
Yeah,
Last week.
It was on extra time on Never a Foul.
Yeah. That was vicious. That one was, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, you give as good as you got, to be fair, as well. So tell us where we can find you, buddy, and what you've been up to.
Part of the Never a Foul team, and I host the Views from the Skywalk, which is the Spurs pod. So it's just at Views from the Skywalk on Twitter.
Superb. And finally, to the left of you, Rack. Tell us where Rack can be found and what you've been up to, buddy. I already know, but tell everybody else.
Rack was. I'll speak in the third person. Rack can be found on Twitter at Raxing1. And various different shows on YouTube that I try and contribute to. None less than our first 11 pod, Liverpool pod that we do on a Monday. Also on the Terrace and Twitter and Spaces and all that kind of craziness.
For those of you that don't know, Rack likes to sit up till 4 a.m. arguing with people on Twitter Spaces. It's not my cup of tea, I'll tell you that.
I've hosted a few Spaces before.
Those things need to be banned, mate. Those things are evil. There's so many people going after people on them things, mate. It's insane. Right, so we'll crack on, guys, and I'll start with you, Ash. What I'd like to know from you, buddy, is who do you have down as winners? Who do you have down as a top four and why? And then we're going to sit here and pull that to pieces.
That's fair enough. I think winners Chelsea. I just think I think the main thing about them is their confidence. I think they kind of feel like they're unbeatable at the moment. You can see that from the outside. Their team spirit is high. Tactically, their manager is just spot on. I mean, you saw when they went down to 10 men against you guys last week, you just saw how good they actually looked with 10 men. I mean, I know it's different to tournament football, but I really don't see anyone stopping them this season. I think Man City will probably be the ones to come close, but I don't see anyone stopping Chelsea. Top four, I think it's going to remain how it was last season. The reason for that is I don't see anyone breaking into that top four. I think. Do you know what? Surprisingly, I think if one team was to drop out, I'd probably say Liverpool. And the reason for that is because the reason I feel that is because I feel you guys have a lack of depth, especially with your forwards. You lost Shaqiri. You've got a lack of depth. You know the AFCON's coming up. So if certain teams go far, you could be without Salah and Mane for 2 to 3 weeks maybe. But yeah, I think it will stay the same. I think Liverpool finish fourth. I think Chelsea, City will finish second, and I reckon United will finish third. I don't see anyone upset. I don't see anyone outside from last season breaking into the top four.
I find it. I don't find it difficult to agree with the top four comment. On your take, my personal feeling is, and I'm sure Jerry and Bob's when he joins us are going to put me right. I think that the problems Manchester United have got in midfield, as we saw against Southampton and against Wolves, will make it difficult for them to achieve what they achieved last season. And the reason for that is I think the other teams around are stronger. I think fans being back in the ground, and if I use Liverpool as an example, purely because it makes a really good point. Liverpool don't lose 4-1 at home to City with fans in the ground. So I think, there's a big change coming in football with the reintroduction of fans. And I think, this run United are going on away from home is incredible. But those things come to an end, like our home run came to an end as well. So I think
has their away run not been beaten yet?
No.
It
It's on
hasn't.
29 games, mate, which is fair play to them. You know what I mean? Fair play.
Fair play.
But I think home teams have been very passive in the last 18 months, without the fans behind them. You can hear it's audible. You can hear it's like a training match at times.
It is. You don't really have that. You don't really have that kick up the backside that you would get at home game.
Just before I come away from you, I know you didn't include Leicester in the top four, and obviously they're perennial bottlers, aren't they? Every season they go from second or third to fifth. Obviously, you don't see that changing. They haven't started particularly well, whereas West Ham have. So, and it would be difficult for you to talk positively about West Ham because there's no love lost between West Ham and Spurs. But if Liverpool drop out, as you said, do you see West Ham or Leicester filling the gap, or are you going to be bold enough to say Nuno's boys get there?
Do you know what I reckon? I reckon we will finish above West Ham this season, because when West Ham hit West Ham hit into that Europa League, it's a different game. They're not used to, with all due respect, they're not used to playing two competitions a season. We all know what Antonio's injury problems are like. Once that happens, if Antonio's out, they don't really have too much. They don't have too bad of a bench, but it's not enough to rotate. And I just don't think it will last with West Ham. I just don't see it lasting. If Antonio's injured, I think they're going to struggle massively.
There's a massive reliance on him, isn't there? I mean, to be fair, he's gone from what, a full-back to a winger to a forward.
Yeah,
he's
he
like
was it right back and then it
Warhurst,
was right wing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Good to see.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think Spurs will finish above. I think Spurs will. I don't know. Leicester's a funny one because I'm the same as you. I'm not really rating them that much this season. I think Brendan Rodgers. If I was to predict it, I'd probably say Brendan Rodgers might have his worst season this year. They've got troubles in defence. Vestergaard, they've had to buy Vestergaard. I don't rate that guy at all. They've got their full Pereira's back, fair enough. I don't know. I don't see them getting top four, not with Brendan Rodgers.
No, I kind of agree. Jerry and Rack, thoughts on Ash's selections? Anything you think differently? Anything you feel strongly about right now to put up a bit of an argument before we come to you? I obviously did, but just keen to get your thoughts.
Yeah, look, top four. I'd be surprised if there are any changes from the top four from last season. Obviously Liverpool haven't strengthened very much, but I still think with the players that we have arguably, and in my opinion, we do have the best first 11 in the league. There are teams that are close. Chelsea are close.
What's that
now.
Based on? Sorry.
What's that based on? That's based on us winning the league, the Champions League, winning 17 games, drawing one, and then winning 18 games in a row.
No. So you're not taking that best 11 based on individuals, are you?
I mean, based on the fact that we've proved ourselves in both the biggest competition in the world in the European Cup and the biggest league in the world in the Premier League. I mean, we could break it down into player for player, but I mean, football is not played player for player; it's played as a team.
Okay, fair enough.
I think what's telling, and I'll use a footballer's example. When we won the league and we went to Leicester, and I think it was Boxing Day, and we beat them 4-1. Kasper Schmeichel came on to be interviewed after the game, and he said that was difficult. They bully you into playing. They want you to play. That system is impossible to play against. So I'll prefix that with the comment I make quite often in pods is that Liverpool's system is ruthlessly effective when everybody's available, but also very fragile when everybody's not available. And when I come to give you my four, I'll go into a little bit more detail about Liverpool, but it'll be along the lines of that. So it's a good question, Ash, and fair enough. I understand why you'd ask it, but I think there's some validity in the response. So Jerry,
go
on, Rack.
I'm sorry. So I think it'll be because obviously clubs have sort of strengthened substantially more. Arsenal obviously bought some players in, but there's huge question marks on whether they're going to have improved anywhere near enough to trouble the top four. Spurs have bought a lot of players in who potentially have very high ceilings. I mean, the centre back they brought in, forget his name now, but he was one of the best centre backs in Serie A last season.
Romero.
Romero,
yeah. So you know, there's definitely scope for there being a surprise, but those are unknowns. Whereas I think that the top four from last season are they're known quantities, and I think we've even though Liverpool as a club haven't necessarily improved very much in terms of our squad, I think we've got players that can compete with any club in the league.
Cool. Jerry, anything to add on the boys' comments so far?
I'm gonna have to agree with the lads. I think the top four remains the same as last season. Regarding to winners, it's tough to say. I'd like to back my team. However, actually, I'll say with Chelsea and City, we have the best squads in the league, in my opinion. However, when I look at the managers, you got Pep, Klopp, and Tuchel, and then we have Mr. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which kind of I have doubts about. So in order, I would like to back my team. However, I think
Go on, say it with your chest.
I can't because like when I see the managers line up and then I see our managers.
Jerry, I'll tell you what, Jerry, do it with your chest, and then do it with your, and then do it with your head,
chest.
and then do it with your head straight afterwards.
Okay,
Evening, Bobs.
How you doing, guys? All right?
Yeah. Listen.
Right, so Jerry, chest first. Do it with your chest first.
Chest, we're going to win the league. 21's coming. 21's coming. I mean, the signings we've made, if you would have told us before the window, we'll get Sancho, Varane, and Ronaldo back. I mean, most United fans will think we're deluded. So it's been a good window. Obviously, the elephant in the room being the DM that we didn't get. However, I've always said that can't be enough of an excuse to not, go for the league. I mean, Ronaldo's not coming here to win a Carabao Cup or FA Cup. He wants one of the big trophies. So, yeah, but with Chelsea, they look the businessman. I mean, the manager, obviously the Liverpool game going down to 10 men. I thought Liverpool at Anfield with the fans back, they were just steamrolling, but they limit them to minimum chances. So with Chelsea, I think right now they're the strongest team. United second. This is my head now. So Chelsea first, United second, City. It's hard to discredit City because it's Pep and he's proven time and time again that he knows how to win leagues. However, with the not signing of the Harry Kanes and the striker, I don't know if they could mount a serious.
I think Ferran Torres will fill that. Will pattern that.
He looks good. Ferran Torres. He's been
for
surprised
the whole season though. I'm not sure.
20 goals this season, Ferran Torres. I'm telling you right now.
20.
I reckon high teens, 20s. Yeah, I reckon so. I reckon about minimum.
He's alive.
17.
He's alive, isn't he? He's alive in the box. He seems to be away.
Do you know what it is with him? It's his movement.
Yeah.
Yep.
His movement is second to none. I reckon he'll do it easily. Good finisher as well.
He looks good. He looks good for sure.
Well, I think I'll put them to finish third. And with Liverpool, I know Rack said they have the best 11 in the league. That's worked in the past. However, I really thought Liverpool would go for a striker or an attacker of some sort because obviously they've had that crop of players that have worked so well. But eventually you have to just add, man. I think Firmino, he's looking a bit
you can't go so long without refreshing.
Yeah, that's how I feel about them. And Mane, I've heard the Liverpool fans say he's fell off and he's declining. I think it's too early to say, but he doesn't look as electric as he used to. And obviously AFCON is a month long. If Salah and Mane, they're gone for a month, that's what potentially 12 points that Liverpool could
They missed 2 games.
Is it 2 games?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you got all the cups at that time, haven't you? And you got the
that's
break
true.
and all that.
That's true.
So I think potentially they could lose.
2 weeks could be enough. That's 6 points. If you might draw or lose.
Of course.
And
we
then
lost
if
the
they
league
go
not too long ago, so
exactly. If they both go, who comes in? Taki, And Origi, I mean, it's a big drop of level.
See,
So
Origi won't play because if he makes a certain amount of appearances this season, we're duty bound to extend his contract. Failing that, he's available to speak to somebody in January, which is what we've all got our fingers crossed for, to get him gone, get him out the door. So
I'm surprised you guys didn't sign anyone this summer.
Yeah, I'm a big surprise, man.
Well, we'll close on a little bit of transfer window at the end because it's topical.
Cool.
We'll do this and then we'll finish up with that because this sounds like there's quite a lot of content coming out of this. So that's Chelsea first, United second, City third, and Liverpool fourth. That's what you've gone for. Anybody want to pick anything out of that? Have a chat about that, Bobs. How do you feel about that? Anything he's missed? Anything you want to?
For me, Steve, obviously I've had my revelations. I got giddy with the king coming back in that. But to be honest,
we all did, man.
To be honest, there's a reason why we're not being in the media touted as favourites because of the manager. I do honestly think, and I've said this before, Man City, Liverpool can do the 20-game runs. We're not talking draws here, we're talking wins. Liverpool have basically got their defence back. Facts is facts, guys. They finished 5 points behind us. And they had their worst season. So, I'm going to be honest, I think Man United will compete for top 4. With the squad we have, we should be in 1 or 2. But because of the manager, I think we're fighting for 4th place. I think it's Chelsea or Tuchel's or Pep. I've got to be honest. Look, I love Man United, and I'd love nothing more to win another title, right? However, when you look at the equations, it's not equating, man. Like at the end of the day, we've got to go on previous history and facts. Ronaldo will lift everyone by 10, 20%, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, Chelsea, Tuchel, Man City, Klopp, Pep, Klopp, and Liverpool, they've been there before. This is not their first gig. They're not rodeo. The players understand what it is to win. Okay, if you look at the last few years now, respectively, Chelsea Champions League, Super Cup, Chelsea have won an FA Cup, Man City have been winning leagues, Liverpool League, Champions League. What have we got to show in the last few years? We've got nothing by 4-5 semi-final. And this is not a dig at Ollie, by the way. It's where we are. And it's the reality. Klopp, Tuchel, Pep win that cup final, Europa League. And going forward, I think, you said the elephant in the room. Man United are like the parent that works too much and can't spend time with you. They buy you what you think you want so you can just be quiet. But what you really need is some time, some loving, and we need a DM. Do you know what I mean? But so yeah, we've got Varane, improvement on Lindelof. We should have got a right back, but Dalot's staying. We've got a winger in Sancho, yet we're playing him left wing. I don't know why. And we've got a centre forward in Ronaldo. Did we need one? Probably not, but he is here what is. We still haven't addressed our situation. That's the problem for me. Now, it's good. We look good at the back. We look good at the front. But, games are normally won in midfield. And I can't help but look at Tuchel's bargain hunt he done in the transfer. Saul, Lukaku, they've actually done good business of players going out. And Man City, listen, they won the league without a centre forward. Who says they can't do it again? Simple as that. And then obviously, Steve's club, Liverpool, listen, facts is facts. They had their worst season. They came 5 points behind us. We conceded more goals than them, I'm led to believe. And Van Dijk back. Trent will be firing again. I just think that Ollie, with our squad and Ollie at the helm, we're going to struggle. So I've got to say top 4, if I'm honest. I'd be lying to you if I said we're going to win the league. We should win the league or compete with the squad we have, but unfortunately, with the manager, I just can't fully back it. This is me sober, by the way. So.
It's a very, very honest appraisal of that, Bobs, and that's the reason why we have you on these things, mate, because you're not sort of blinkered by the fact your love for the club. So thanks for that. Jerry, do you agree with Bob's comments?
When he was talking, I was thinking, nah, Bobs, you're chatting rubbish, but I couldn't because he's making a lot of valid points. Like I was trying to butt in here, so should I come in there? But everything he's saying, when you look at it in general, it's facts, man. Like obviously, with like you said, Liverpool's won the league. They know how to do it. Pep's done it countless times, and then Tuchel winning the Champions League. Now he's got a full season. They started bright, and then we have Oli, who's kind of failed at the final hurdle. It does kind of put us fourth, so I can't even disagree with what Bob's saying, man.
And the thing, it pains me, Jerry, guys. It pains me to say that, right? However, I'm a realist, man. I've got to be honest. I can't sit here and say, we're gonna pepper these guys, because for all the games that we beat a team, we'll score loads of goals. Man United 100% will score loads of goals. Of course we will, right? So for every Leeds game, okay, there will be the Southampton away.
Oh gosh.
Do you know what I mean? And I hate to say it, but we should wipe the floor with everyone in this league. Our strongest 11 is probably the best 11 in the Premier League, and I'll happily debate that. Okay. However, I've said this before. You can have all the ingredients in the kitchen and still be a shit cook. So yeah.
Well, what I'll say about United is that I think, whereas so Liverpool and Man City to some degree are unknown quantities when they have all their players fit. I think I had my doubts about Chelsea, but I saw enough in the Liverpool Chelsea game to suggest that they're capable of staying in and around that mix as well. And I'd questioned it before because, it's one of those things. I'm not going to give you anything for free. If you come out and prove it, then I'll applaud you, I'll congratulate you, and I'll say, okay, you're in the mix. And I think Chelsea are going to be in the mix, and I think they showed that in that game. In adversity, down to 10 men, they got a result that they would have taken even before the
2 years ago, Liverpool beat them. 2 years ago, Liverpool beat them happily. Liverpool put 3-4s past them. But the Chelsea,
the resoluteness they had in that performance that really impressed me.
It's
I think the
very
thing with
well
United
organised
is,
team.
I think the thing with United is, United are a bit of an unknown quantity, right? Because you've got three potentially, if you're talking Ronaldo, Sancho, Varane, three new players who we don't really know what they're going to do in the system, and we don't really know what kind of outputs we can expect from them. Like, if they all hit the ground running and they revolutionise the way the Man United play and the performances come, with or without Ollie's input, that could go one way or another. It could explode and be amazing, or it could explode and go down the shitter. So
I hear that. That's what I'm saying. We will score. Listen, we will terrorise defences. It's the games like the Southampton where Ronaldo is being followed, when the delivery is being overhit, which is consistently done on the right hand side, when nothing is happening, where we need a bit of tactic, strategy, where we need to say, do you know what, Pogba, stay wide left, isolate the right. We need some in-game management to try and tweak these things. Now, when I hate to praise this guy, but Tuchel, when he took off Havertz and was it Kante? Kante was injured, right?
Yeah.
And did you see who he brought on? I believe it was Kovacic and
Thiago Silva.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Listen, Liverpool would have played another 90 minutes. They wouldn't have scored. And it's stuff like that we don't have. We don't have the in-game management. You can even say in-game management. We just seem to. I think all the fans can be like, Ollie, take him off. He's playing rubbish, but Ollie will persist with him, and we don't have that. And that is the difference between. Tuchel basically said, "Okay, do you know what? Havertz, my best player in the game so far. Come off, mate, because we're not losing. We're not going to concede. Thiago Silva, my best defender. Azpilicueta, tuck in. They do not beat us. Lukaku, drop in. They do not beat us." That is the difference, because their leader is setting an example. He's saying to you, Havertz, mate, sit on the bench. Sorry, this game's bigger than you. There's times last season where Rashford was stinking up the place, and we just kept playing now. So sorry to jump in. It's just, I hear what you're saying and stuff, but I'd love to sit here and be like, Man United this, Man United that, but I've got to be realistic. I'm jealous. I'm absolutely jealous that Liverpool have got a person like Klopp. I'm jealous that Chelsea have got Tuchel. I'm jealous of Pep. Do you know what I mean? But we are Man United, and like as I said, for all the games there will be Leeds at home. There'll be so many games like Southampton away.
I think with United, the way league football is, I can see how it won't work for you in terms of what you're saying with Ole. But I think in tournament and knockout football, it's a different ball game.
Carabao Cup, mate. I'm shameless. Listen,
Nah.
end of February. If we're lifting the Carabao Cup,
Not even that. I'm talking
Champions League, bro.
Tournament.
Well,
football.
this is just on that one. The thing, and I get what you're saying about knockout football. The thing with the Champions League is you're going to come up against teams that will tactically look to expose Manchester United's midfield. There is a space in front of the back four which you can get at, and all of the top teams and PSG will try it. If they come up against an English club, one of the top four English clubs in Europe, they'll try it. You know, Real Madrid will come again. Barcelona will reinvent themselves to some degree. Bayern Munich would be massive advocates of they would be the worst possible team that United could play against because of the position Thomas Muller plays in. They wouldn't know how to deal with that, and the fact that they attack you from the width, and Wan-Bissaka would have his hands full because they overload down the left-hand side with Alphonso Davies and Kingsley Coman. So there are lots of variables. But before we come to my well, exactly, and before we come to my four, I just want Rack to go through your top four, please, buddy, and what position they finish in.
Top four: Liverpool, City, Chelsea, United.
Now, is that with your chest or with your head?
No, that's my chest. I think. Look, if we would have signed people, if we would have signed a striker, certainly, it would have meant we'd need less luck. If we would have signed a midfielder, it would have meant we would need less luck. But we're still capable of doing it. I think we can do it. We're right up there. I may be wrong, and if I'm wrong, at the end of the season, you will look at me and laugh. But I believe that we're capable of doing it, and I think we will do it.
Any thoughts on that, guys?
Did you say Liverpool? Yeah.
They'll think I'm wrong.
Yeah, Liverpool is tricky.
I don't think Liverpool win. I don't.
Look,
I
you know
really
what?
don't.
I think you've got an argument. Do you know why? Because when all Liverpool first team players, the first 11 to the first 13, are fully match fit, I know we're 3 games in, but I say when they're peak, they're a handful. They'll beat men. You'll blow so many teams away in the first 35 minutes. So I hear that, and you can't help boast with confidence that your best centre back in the league, is back. You know, put Konate in there. You've got other defenders chomping at the bit. Listen, you know, the training ground is going to be probably the most intense place ever because people are going to want to play, and that only means it's good for Klopp because everyone's going to be on their toes, sharp, wanting to play, and that's I hate to say it for the rest of the league. It's probably not a good thing because as I say, Liverpool, their pride will be a bit dented. It wasn't the best league defences. So this season, you know, everyone's had a pre-season. You know, we all know that famous phrase last season. No one had a pre-season. They've had a full pre-season, and there's no reason why they can't win the league, and that's the most shameful thing.
The margin for error is very thin. I agree with that. The margin for we haven't got. You know, if Salah gets injured, we're in deep shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A couple of injuries, it's
100%.
And the thing is, injuries will happen. They happen every season to every club.
Yeah.
They do.
It's just a question of
not even injuries. You've got COVID. You've got
that's true.
You know, there's so many little things this season, like international breaks. When you go to red list countries, you then got a quarantine for 10 days. So many little things that are just gonna.
So
I think there's gonna be loads of. I think there's gonna be loads of that stuff playing parts this season.
No,
I think you're right.
Look, all of those legitimate concerns, and I don't have an answer for that. If that happens to Liverpool, we're in trouble. I agree.
Like it's even happened to us. Like we've got Sanchez, Romero, and Lo Celso out for Crystal Palace because they've got a quarantine.
Oh, yeah, you support Tottenham. I remember now.
So we've got that problem. And the thing is, we're not the only club. During international breaks, people are going to go to for the qualifiers. People are going to go to red list countries. Are going to have to come back quarantine. You missed the Premier League game. It's going to happen this season.
What was the deal with that? Because I heard that Premier League clubs all last week came out and said they're going to unified
that's what I
together.
thought.
Has
Yeah,
anything been like
Nah,
FIFA
so
kind of chucked it out, or
Players
what's
have
the
been
deal with that?
stopped. Some players have been stopped. Some players have been allowed to go. But
Yeah.
I think the players that are being allowed to go, it's a very coy move by their manager. If they're going to get minutes, then okay, cool in the long run. But if they're not really going to play when they come back, you might as well just send them. Do you know what I mean? I think Lo Celso and is it Ramirez?
Romero.
Have been sent. Yeah, Romero, beg your pardon, have been sent. Romero's probably
Romero.
not. Romero, beg your pardon. Yeah. So I mean, it depends on the club itself individually.
See,
Cavani's not.
this is why I think Man United have a strong argument in the tariffs, because when I look at our squad, we have options. I don't think Fred went to international G or Cavani, and then Bernardo misses his next game because he got the yellow card yesterday, and then you got Martial, he'll be fine. Like we got a lot of options. So, like you guys said, the Liverpool couple players missing, and then their squad just looks totally different. But with us, like couples, obviously our midfield's light, but attack, defense, I think we're stacked, man. I saw the Champions League squad got released today, and I was looking at like the defense as a package. We got Delors, Wan-Bissaka for the right back, Shaw, Telles, then we got Bailly, Varane, Lindelof, and Maguire. It looked proper, but then the midfield looks a bit slim. But I think our squad, we got a lot of players. Obviously, Lingard stayed, Mata's still there, Van der Beek.
What's the minimum expectations?
For me,
Quarterfinal. If you don't reach.
Oh, are we talking about Champions League? Are we talking about Champions League? You know what? Yeah, if we go out the group
What about
stage, yeah, we should win one of the domestic cup.
Win it.
But you see, with Champions League, yeah, obviously last year we didn't get out of the group, so I couldn't really assess because I think knockout football, like you guys said. No, listen, bro. I know. Wait. Let me land. Listen, bro. If you watch my stream when we got knocked out, it was.
I watched it, bro. I remember.
Listen, like we said earlier,
I'm gonna check it out.
Like we said earlier, United in knockout competition, I think we're more suited. Obviously, we haven't won anything, but Ollie's actually got far in a lot of competitions for the time he's been here. So
that's what I'm saying. Knockout was different.
Yeah, if we get out of the group, I'm saying final with our squad. Because when I look around Europe, no, bro, I'm being serious. When I look around Europe, I'm looking at who am I scared of playing? And
PSG.
Yeah, but we've dealt with PSG twice now. Like,
nah, but this PSG is different.
This is different.
Bring me PSG. Bring me PSG. Nah, I'm not scared of them.
We've got Hakimi. Yeah, one of the best right backs and one of the best right wing backs in the world.
Yeah,
we've got Nuno now on the left. Yeah, Marquinhos. They solid centre backs.
Got a point though, because in big games PSG bottle it.
Yeah, man, they're not up for it like that. I think if they face us again,
better teams that we play
exactly, we're suited to them. So I'm not scared to play PSG right now.
My manager is, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, guys, I'll just close this one by I can't pick between three teams to win the Premier League for lots of different variables. So what I'll do is I'll summarise those three teams' chances very quickly. So anyone who finishes above Manchester City will win the title, purely because those players go into the league expecting to win the title because they've got history of doing it. So that makes them dangerous because it won't even enter their head that they're not going to win the title. That gives them a confidence, it gives them an edge. They create so much going forward, playing with almost two number 10s. They'll get in behind everybody. They've scored goals for fun. They've scored 5 goals twice already this season. So they're firing on all cylinders. They will be there. If you finish above City, you win the title. The only Achilles heel for them is they don't have a recognised centre forward. I, like the other guys, think Ferran Torres will score lots of goals. I don't think he trusts Gabriel Jesus. I think, Jerry, you're 100% correct that they should have signed a centre forward. I think the guys that made that point totally agree with you. Chelsea. Now, Chelsea is the most difficult one for me to assess. Under Frank Lampard, the reason they weren't what they were was players didn't understand their role. And when games went through a difficult period, Lampard would turn to his bench and get nothing back from his coaches. So he didn't know how to deal with tactical problems. Frank Lampard's Chelsea do not do what Tuchel's Chelsea did at Anfield on Saturday. They go to bits and we win by 3 or 4. So he's astute. He knows what he's doing. His substitutions proved Chelsea's game plan was to come away from Anfield with something. The celebrations at the final whistles proved that Chelsea's plan was to come away with something. That was one of the best defensive performances I've seen at
I agree.
Anfield for many, many years.
Even just as an organised team, one of the best.
Ridiculous. The distances between them that they occupy, they never broke away from that. Nobody got rash. And Rudiger's a rash defender, but under Tuchel, he's reined it in a little bit, and he played within the zone that he's supposed to play in when you go defensive like that. And I thought Chelsea were really good value for the draw. I know we had a lot more chances than they did, but to be fair, tactically they got it right. So Chelsea are the real deal. They really genuinely are the real deal. And I think those Chelsea and City probably for me just edge Liverpool in terms of if it's Liverpool's first 11 stay fit all season, and it has happened before, so it's not unrealistic, then Liverpool are in a shakedown. If it becomes a squad game, when you go 2 or 3 into your squad, Liverpool have problems because we didn't behave like an elite club in the transfer window. We behaved like a set of owners that are either doing one or two things, consolidating their money or tying down their assets because they're looking to sell the club. That's how I see Liverpool's situation. And I thought their response in the transfer window was pretty poor, and it could possibly affect our hopes of winning the title this year. Manchester United. Now, this is an interesting one. Manchester United have got lots of options. Manchester United's options for real, genuine quality, all in the final third. You are one Varane injury away from being back with the back four that you had last season, which isn't good enough to win you a title. In your centre midfield, you've got your fans banging on the door to play Donny van der Beek in a double pivot. Doesn't suit Donny van der Beek. Donny van der Beek should be playing much further up the pitch, but he's in third place in pecking order behind Bruno and Pogba for that position. So whilst United have got loads and loads of options, all our options are in the final third. If you get an injury to Varane, you're right back where you started last season. Bringing in one world-class central defender, and he is, but he still has to adapt to the Premier League because he's not used to that intensity in Spain. It's just not the same. The gameplay is a lot slower. He's going to have to find his feet. Sancho is a work in progress. Nobody knows how good Sancho's going to be. He's got all the potential to be a world-class footballer, but nobody in this pod tonight can judge him on what we've seen already. He looks a little bit out of sorts. He looks a little bit like a fish out of water. He's trying to adapt to what Manchester United are trying to do. How quickly he adapts will tell a lot about how far Manchester United go in all of the tournaments that you've spoken about. So that's my thoughts on the top four. I think it's between, first and foremost, I think it's anyone who finishes above City wins it. Chelsea are most likely to do that. Of all of the four, if Liverpool stay fit, they'll be in the shakedown. I just think United's midfield and relying on Varane to be fit for the whole season, because Eric Bailly is no replacement for Rafael Varane. Eric Bailly is not your man to get Harry Maguire's positional sense sorted out and getting in behind him, which he proved against Wolves. That when Maguire went missing, Varane was capable of filling in space behind him. So it'd be really interesting. So that's the top four, guys. We've got half an hour or so spent on that. I want to talk to you guys about now who's going to be these guys. Who we're going to see as relegation candidates, right? What I will say before we start is, and especially you, Ash, let's not get fanciful and think that Arsenal are going to go down, because they're really not. They're really not.
Steve, can I just say something, right, to that, right? We've got to look at the situation. The last 10 years has been an absolute shambles. And I'm
Ash
actually
was like
being
that.
serious here. I'm actually being serious here, right? Who are they beating? They don't look like they beat anyone. No. Guys,
This is what I'm
on
saying. Can they
form
even
right
look
now,
at a fixture? Can they even look at a fixture and say, yeah, we're winning that?
Norwich at home, surely they have to
Nah,
get
I can't. I don't
Yeah,
think
but-
as
no,
an
but you
Arsenal
don't think
fan you can
Norwich
say
are
you're
looking
winning
at
that
them
game.
thinking, yo, we can get a
Of course
result
they are.
here.
Here's the thing: if they lose to Norwich, Arteta's gone.
Yeah,
100%.
Thing is, Daniel, what's his name? Daniel Farke. They play some decent football. That Norwich.
Yeah.
They're not
So,
as. But if they play their style against Arsenal, they will rock them. I'm not saying they'll win, but it ain't gonna be easy for Arsenal.
Listen,
And they've also
Arsenal
got a lot
will
of
win.
boys.
Arsenal will win a game, and when they win that game, they'll likely win 2 or 3 that follow on from that.
They probably
What-
will.
what-
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, what we've got at the moment is that they're like a ship without a rudder. They don't know where they're going. They've got no particular footballing identity. They've got. If you look at the team, so the goalkeeper Leno is a good shot stopper, but he's got a mistake. You look at Ben White, or Ben Shite, as Bobs would call him, is £50 million worth of English tax, but he isn't a terrible player. Gabriel alongside him, that could be a partnership that could grow. They've got Kieran Tierney, if he stays fit, is a quality left back, but his fitness is his issue because he's always picking up injuries. Their double pivot of Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey could actually work. It genuinely could work because of the attributes those players have got. And then you've got the likes of Saka, Smith Rowe, and all those guys in front of them. They will pick up wins. Look, right now they're dreadful. They're dreadful. And Arsenal haters and Tottenham fans who love the banter with them will take every opportunity to tell them that. But the reality is there will be 3 teams in the Premier League come the end of the season who will be worse than Arsenal. You have to look at it that way.
No, of course. It's
There's
just
no banner, man. Yeah, they'll stay up.
it's just all bad. Yeah, they'll definitely stay up.
Let's be real. Now we've dealt with that bit. Let's do a bit of realism. So Bobs, give me a candidate for going down. One candidate you think's a dead set to go down. Don't you dare say Arsenal after all that.
Do you know what? I'm just reminding myself of the teams that came up: Norwich, Watford,
Brentford, Norwich, and
Watford.
who's the other one?
I think
Watford.
But let me just. I think. Do you know what? On from what we've seen so far, I think Norwich probably. They're probably the real definition of a yo-yo club. They probably do well financially as well because of it. That's how they're sustainable. I'm gonna chuck in Burnley and hear me out. Against Leeds, I thought they were all right, but normally Burnley grind out that win, and I just think, they've tried to buy a left winger or a left back or something. I think, to be honest, I hate the club as well, to be honest, so that's why I'm chucking them in. But I think Burnley might be there, and I think my last one, I think Watford. I was gonna say Palace, but I can't because of Vieira. I want them to do well. But Watford, I think they'll be a bit naive with Watford in the long run. But yeah, those are my 3 teams.
Cool. I mean, just in thoughts there. I think Vieira will be gone by Christmas, mate. Personally speaking,
I know.
I think so as well.
I don't think he's got a clue, mate.
Yeah,
I think the same. I think Vieira's getting sacked.
Do you know what though? I appreciate him for being brave in what he's trying to do with the young, because right now, he can only, in Palace's budget, who can he really go out and buy? And
he's had a good window. He's had a good window, but the thing is,
do you know what he should have done? I know this might sound a bit thingy. This might sound a bit dubious, but he should have went for Xhaka or someone in London that plays in at these London clubs. Hear me out.
Granit Xhaka.
Experience. Listen, Xhaka's not a bad player.
Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace.
Hear me out.
Wait, are you saying for Xhaka to go Palace?
Exactly.
No, listen, hear me out. Hear me out. When you buy all these young players, okay, you need experience beside them. Xhaka's probably the worst kind of example to use, but he should have done a bit of homework and be like, who can I get as an old head, experienced head that can play in centre midfield or centre back that can try and guide these young players, because he's got youth, but he's not really got any experience.
He had Cahill, and then he released.
Nah, Cahill left. He's gone Bournemouth.
Yeah, no, he released Cahill, so that was the experience there.
The thing is, like,
you get what I'm trying to say, though?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Bob's, you're right. You are right, by the way.
If he finds himself in a position where they are kind of in and about around the relegation zone, he's getting sacked. Because as Crystal Palace, you cannot afford to be anywhere near that level. And if you are, the manager's got to go, because you can't risk getting relegated.
I mean, you saw it, didn't you? You saw it with De Boer. Like, as soon as he was only obviously he lost those 6 games, but that's enough of an alarm bell to suggest, you know what, we got to cut our ties.
Palace have what? They've lost 2 and drawn 1. Is it? They lost to Chelsea.
Yep.
They drew to West Ham.
No, they've drawn 2 games.
I said they've drawn 2, lost 1.
Yeah.
Like we said with Arsenal, they've got to look at the fixture list. He's going to know what games he can be able to imprint his style and play when they have to like survive and stuff. I just think, right, like, you know, like Steve said, and like you're saying, I mean, he probably will go down if it goes away. But you know, Crystal Palace need to then look at themselves and be like, well, what do you exactly want? You know, like, you know, you're not going to win the league. You're not going to. You might have. I mean, Pardew got them to the FA Cup final. Was it FA Cup final?
Yeah, against us, isn't it?
Yeah. Against United. Yeah.
But like, you've got to be realistic. You know, I know loads of Crystal Palace fans that I went to primary school with. And, you know, they all say, like, you know, we want to play better football, we want to compete, but well, you know, you just let go of Hodge, who's basically Mr. Armchair Man. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
This is the thing with clubs. Like, when you become like a mid-table Premier League team where your security is not guaranteed, but, you know, you'd have to do something wrong to go down, then what do you do? Like, how do you become? That's what. Well, actually, Leicester kind of bypassed that stage in some way because they came up, won the league, survived, won the league, had a bit of a battle, and then now they've just pretty much solidified themselves along, you know, the top 6+1. If you're in that range of like 7th to 13th or 8th to 13th, what are your aspirations? What are your plans? Do you want to are you happy with mediocrity? And if you're playing crap football, are you willing to take the risk of falling out of that security to play more expansive, entertaining football? It's a difficult one because if it doesn't work for you, you're like it's a risk. You're risking the club. You're talking hundreds of millions of pounds.
I get what you're saying. It's like, where's your mojo? What is it? What's in the season for you? It's like we're expected to finish 13th. Okay, so we finish 13th. We take the prize money that's on offer. We come back next year and we do the same again. But not all teams can develop and go forward. So it's kind of, I think for someone like Patrick Vieira, what Crystal Palace is a vehicle to something else. So let's say this comment here from Kojo says that, who is it? He'll get Palace to 12th. Now, if Vieira gets Palace to 12th, that's a successful season.
100%.
That's the type of credibility that you need for when Arsenal say to Arteta, see you later, mate, that's not good enough. That's got to be the holy grail for Vieira to go back to a club where he's a club legend and do what he wants to do there. Watching Crystal Palace at the moment, Bob's is exactly right. They needed someone with experience in the middle of the park to slow it down and to say to people, right, just take the foot off the gas for 10 minutes, guys. We're winning 2-0. We don't need to go in search of 3 and 4. There's 20 minutes left. That's what you don't get with young players. So I totally take the point on board. Does anybody else think Palace are contenders for relegation? Anyone of the other three?
Yeah, absolutely. Vieira, I'm kind of worried for him still. The Arsenal dream, I don't think it's going to happen. Palace is a weird team.
You never know with them. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know because Zaha's still there. For how long? I don't know. That Gallagher guy that scored the brace the other day, he looks bright.
Gallagher's decent. He's decent.
Yeah. But then, like Bob said, look at the midfield. You got Kouyaté. What's the other guy's name?
Eze.
Eze's on his way back as well. That's a.
Oh yeah, he's injured, isn't he?
Yeah.
MacArthur's there, but he's a bruiser anyway.
Yeah, so there's not much quality in that midfield, and then the defense is like, Palace is a weird one. I think they could find themselves in the race, but my cert to go down this year is Newcastle.
Really?
Yeah, man. I look at them, and they have decent players, but
do you know what? I think the same.
Really?
Yeah, man. I'm not inspired by the team.
Think at St James's Park they will do enough to get 40 points.
It's time.
Do you know what the thing is? Yeah, they are so bad. Newcastle, like organization, defending. Like when you watch them, they're just shambolic. On the ball, they ain't got a clue. Everything about them is just bad. Like I was shocked when they stayed up last season. I think it was like from like February. I was like, these lot are certain to go down. And then they got that new assistant coach, and then things started changing. The only thing that is making me think they might just stay up is Joe Willock.
Willock. Has he played yet?
Yeah, could be.
He signed.
Could be.
But has he played? I don't think he's played a game yet, has he?
He was on loan there last season, wasn't he? So I guess he'll fit into the team. He should.
Yeah.
He'll come in because he was their main player. To
second half.
When they loaned him, he was one of their main guys, and if he can keep somewhat, obviously he's not gonna, carry that ridiculous goal scoring form throughout the whole season. But if he can have his moments in the season, because that's what it's about in these relegation, in these dogfights, it's all about having your moment for one period of the season, and that just sets you up for survival. I think if you
can get a streak of.
If you can get like a
3
streak,
wins in 5 or something, or even 3, then that puts you in a really good position.
You got
Saint Maximum. He's bright.
You got Saint Max. You got Willock. If they can put together some kind of form, I think they might be okay. But if not, they're certainly going down.
I'd not even considered them, but you make quite a compelling case there. To be fair, they've only got 2 good players. If you think about it, if they put their whole squad on the transfer market, they might sell 2 players. But Lascelles probably would go as well. To be fair,
now Callum Wilson
Murphy's half decent.
Callum Wilson's long term injured now, guys.
Is he?
What? For real?
He's out for months, mate. He's going to be out for months.
They're definitely going down now. They're 100% going down.
I think
Joe Linton.
If 40 million pounds, man. 40 million pounds, bloody
that is
hell.
crazy.
They've got 2 players. They've got
That's got to be one of the worst Premier League signings ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did want to say, I think they'll be there or thereabouts. But if Brentford can stay up, like Brentford, even the Championship, they were punching above their weight. Like if they can stay in the Premier League, they deserve so much credit. Like they're a really, really
I
smartly
think
run
Brentford
club.
will stay up, but they've got a very good manager.
Yeah, the manager, the structure around the club, like everything, the way that club's been slowly but surely built up. It should be an example for any club that's aspiring to kind of reach smaller club reach those heights, because they're punching well above their weight in the Premier League, and big up to them.
Absolutely. And just to answer the United Ways question, then what's the odds of Arsenal going down? We have touched on this, and I purposely dismissed it out of hand and didn't give these guys a chance to say that Arsenal would go down. I think the reality is that there will be 3 worse teams than them. I think we all agreed on that. Jerry, who's your number 1 candidate to go down?
Yeah, I'm the one that brought Newcastle.
Okay. Who else?
Newcastle, Norwich, unfortunately.
Norwich is certain, man.
They're just a yo-yo team. Down.
You might as well relegate and put them rock bottom already.
And the third,
they lost 3 games, -9 goal difference. They're done out here.
I'm gonna go Watford. I haven't been. Obviously, I know they won their first game, but I don't think they. I think they lost Deeney. I know he doesn't start, but I think losing him in the dressing room is big. Andre Gray's left them now, gone to QPR. I'm gonna go Watford, Norwich, and then Newcastle.
Well, I'd like to see Burnley go down personally.
Well, it's because they stopped your record.
I just can't stand them, mate.
I can't see it happening.
It's Neanderthal football, isn't it? You know, they're even now.
Do you know what? I do think the Premier League needs a team like Burnley, though.
Yeah, same, man. I like.
You know what it is?
Can it be somebody else? Can it just be somebody else?
It's like Burnley and the new Stoke, man.
Yeah, tough more, man. You always want to go.
Man. You need that one jammy team in the Premier League.
I mean, it's a good point. If Burnley were to go, if Burnley were to go, who would? If Burnley were to go, then there wouldn't be any team of that style, that kind of like old school. I don't want to say old school English, but a bit of kick and rush, put it in the mix of lads and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man.
It is. It's old school English. Get the ball on the field. Two big centre forwards. Hold the ball up and get the others into place.
4-2.
So does that now mean, guys, we've got to say if you can do it on a cold Tuesday night in Burnley instead of Stoke now, then is that what we're saying?
Yeah,
that's what it is. Burnley the new Stoke.
Now Brentford got that bit about them as well with the long throws and that. So maybe they could be the new.
I'm okay with that. Tell you what, I'll do you the deal. If Burnley go down, Brentford can be the new Stoke. They're playing red and white. Why not? Do you know what I mean? That sounds good to me.
Makes sense.
That sounds good to me. So we come on to the second to last subject of tonight, boys. I want you to talk about surprise packages. So who's the team this season that you think is going to surprise people? There will be one. There always is. It was Aston Villa last season before the little drop off towards the end of the season. Ash, who's your surprise package? Who are you looking at the moment, thinking, well, I wasn't expecting that apart from Arsenal?
I think. Do you know what? I think it's going to be Spurs. I think it's going to be my team.
Yeah,
I think no one is expecting us to challenge for top 4, but I genuinely think we will. I genuinely think we'll be there or thereabouts.
I'm not sure about that.
No, I genuinely think we will. I genuinely think we will.
Ash,
But
you got a drink or something? You got a drink? You need to dilute it, bro. You need to
Nah,
dilute it.
so
You
water,
know
bro.
what?
Water.
The thing is, man, it's like I've got 3, and Spurs are one of them because there's question marks, and when you've got question marks, that can go one of either 2 ways. Man United are my other one. Like if Man United click, that's going to be a fucking shit season for me, man. Like as a Liverpool fan, we enjoy Man United being miserable, Man United fans being miserable, and if you've got the players there. And if you hit a run of form, you ride a crest of a wave or whatever, all those cliches, who knows where that can take you? And similarly, Brentford, I think, I hope they stay up, and I hope they do well. Just I think they're a well-run club, and
I think
it'll be
the
changed to
reason
see
is
them go
because
down.
I think the reason is because no one is expecting Spurs to be in that area. But I honestly think we will. I genuinely think we will. I don't think we're gonna go all the way, but I think we'll finish 5th. I think we'll put in a decent top 4 challenge. I think people forget that the way we played last season held us back so many times. It was very one-dimensional, very overly reliant on Kane and Son and playing just one type of way. But I feel that when we've got the additions we've got 2 good fullbacks now. I think last season there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on with Jose. There was a lot of pressure on a defense that is very prone to mistakes. But I think with a change in managerial style, I think we'll be a lot better as a team. I think when we face teams that we should be losing against, I think those are where you'll see a surprise results from us. I think it'll be vice versa. The games that we should be winning, I think we'll probably struggle.
And the thing is, you started with 3 wins as well. Like you started with 3 wins, and like if you want to have that surprise impact, to start in such a strong way, that puts you on a good platform to move forward. So, yeah, I think there's a chance for that to happen for sure.
Yeah, that'll be my surprise package.
When we say surprise, like I want to say Brighton. I don't think they'll be in the relegation, because normally I know people gas up Graham Potter, but I think this season they're pushing high, like bottom of the
high. You said like 12, 11,
12, 11. Yeah, I think they can finish quite high for them, because watching them, like
they're a joy to watch, man. I can't lie.
Yeah. People, even the United fan base, people are like, yeah, Graham Potter plays better football than Ollie, and sometimes I think, but it's Graham Potter. Like, let me watch them, and then I watched.
It's not a sexy name, is it, Pa?
Exactly, they actually play good, like, and I think this season
they've always been like that. To be fair,
yeah, they've got 7 points. I mean, they're up there. Is it 7 or 6? Well, they're up there in the table.
6, I think.
No, I remember 15 years ago, they didn't even have their own football stadium. They were playing like outside Brighton in some rickety old stadium. Now it's
a very well-run football club. That is.
It seems like there's a lot of like the well-run clubs are moving up the leagues, and the old school, like your Stokes and that kind of thing, are slowly but surely being pushed down. So maybe that's a sign of things to come.
And another one quickly, Everton, man, with Rafa there. I know you Liverpool fans don't want to hear it,
man, don't say
but
that.
they look.
They're gonna have a disaster, man. They are.
Nah. I mean, Damari Gray looks 1.5 mil.
He's meaty though, man.
Nah. He started well. He looks on it this season, man. I'm happy for him.
But the thing is, there's always these players that will start well. We see it every season, and then fifth, like they just ghost for the rest of the season.
I mean, Calvert-Lewin's picked up where he left off. With Richarlison, they got a decent team. I think they could. I wouldn't say surprise. Probably finish 7th, 8th.
I hadn't even thought about Everton,
8th,
but
9th.
But Rafa there is different, man. He's
Rafa's man.
I don't know. Maybe.
I think with Everton, I think Rafa will just beat them. Rafa will make them easier to beat. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear
Emmerdale.
me?
Can't
Is that
retype
Emmerdale?
it.
Coronation Street.
Coronation
Yeah,
Street.
my wife's at home.
Yeah.
Mine's at home. But yeah, I think Rafa. We all know what Rafa will do, right? I think what's interesting is that Rafa went and got Rondon, and he's got Calvert-Lewin, and
Rafa and
Damari Gray
Rondon, what?
is playing
Bulldozers,
like
bro.
Sterling at the Euros. He's got point to prove. Wants to remind everyone that he's a good player. So everyone will be there and thereabouts. I think the surprise package could be Tottenham. And I was looking at you funny there, but like after listening to your points and stuff, obviously everyone has a new lease. Every club has a new lease after Jose. I don't know why people debate yes or no, whatever. However, you guys looked defensively sound, and when I say that, I emphasise that a lot because you kept a clean sheet against City, which is not very easy to do. I've said this before. I enjoyed watching the tactic when you didn't have possession, you went into defence, but you kept the three forwards up. And Jose used to do that in the Porto days, and I think it's very brave, but it shows that he actually trusts the players in defence and in midfield to do a job. It could do. I think what will be the full definition for you, the full conclusion for you guys, is injuries. I actually think he played better with Harry Kane, personally. Movement wise,
Yeah, I agree. 100%, man.
I think he's a rat and a snake, personally. But yeah, I think they could be the surprise package. Yeah, man, you're right. I'll second that, definitely.
I'll go with that too. I thought, listen, the thing there is, right, I'll tell you what's impressive for me. Nuno's gone into the job knowing he wasn't first choice, second choice, third choice. He might have been sixth in line. I mean, Daniel Fonseca was ahead of him, and that really isn't a great character reference, is it? But to be honest with you, what he's really good at is getting the best out of the players he's got. So if you look at Wolves in the Championship, they were an attacking side. You look at Wolves in the Premier League, he tried to make them difficult to beat, and he got some scalps. I think he's tactically very good. He played in the Mourinho Porto side in goal, so he knows how to set up defensively. I like him. I think he's a very good manager. I think I was surprised Tottenham didn't go for him sooner. I thought that was an obvious appointment as soon as Mourinho went for me. I thought they should have been looking at Nuno. What he's got you doing is playing as a unit. He's got you playing as a team, not individuals anymore. He's getting a tune out of Dele Alli, and that's not easy to do. We've all seen what Mourinho thought of Dele Alli. Um, the City game, that's the first time I've seen Spurs play as a unit in that way.
Yeah, the intensity was there, man.
For it, probably more so than even when Poch was there. I think
I fully agree.
Nuno is tactically better than Pochettino, in my opinion, and that's from his career, not just from the opening 3 games at Spurs. If you want to use an example of that, Champions League semi-final first half, Paris Saint-Germain had City on the ropes. Pep makes 2 tactical and positional changes in the second half, and Poch watches with his arms folded as City tear him to bits and go through in one half of football. They were never going through in the second leg. City did too much damage in the second half of the first leg. So Nuno's got that thing that Tuchel's got, that Klopp's got, that Pep's got, where they can think on their feet during games, and he's a student, and he's a student of the game, which will work really well. I think it's a great appointment by Spurs, and he's gone about his business quietly. He's brought in 1 or 2 players. You've just signed a lad from Barcelona, haven't you?
Yeah, Emerson, the right back. Yeah.
Yeah. So and you let the enigma that Serge Aurier allow him to terminate his contract. He's now trying to talk his way into the Arsenal squad, which is absolutely baffling, isn't it?
Oh,
do you know what?
gosh.
I hope he goes there, but yeah, I hope he goes.
But I think do you know what? I think Spurs will come again to some degree. I just think Nuno's a real breath of fresh air down there, mate. And I'm always an advocate of teams that have a plan and are organised and set up. And Spurs will be difficult to beat. Davinson Sanchez looks like a completely different player
different, bro.
under Nuno.
I'm very critical of him and Eric Dyer, but Sanchez in particular looks like he's a new man. And it's interesting because before the season started, he did an interview and he said that he's felt this confidence that he's never felt before at Spurs. So it's good to see. How long it lasts, we don't know, but I can only applaud him because I've been very critical of him.
And you've just
The
mentioned
thing is
two
that at
centre backs.
Ajax, he was really highly touted, and when Spurs got him, I thought, man, this is good. And he started off really well. I was like, man,
did. He
this
had a
guy's gonna be
really good
world
first
class
season.
defender.
Yeah, I remember we played him
I
in the
thought this
Europa League
guy's gonna
final.
But I
tear it
thought he
up.
was going to be the next Ledley King. I honestly did.
Oh, that's a bit of a big
100%.
shout.
No, but the way he was playing that first season, like, I was just
he
like,
just
this
came
guy's
into the
got it
league
all.
and settled in straight away, and he was brilliant. And I was like, oh, man, Spurs have got one here. And then it just kind of, but it'd be good to see him back if he can put a run together, because obviously he's been through a bit.
And the thing is, guys, we've just been sat there bigging up Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez. Arguably, the best centre back is the lad who got the best centre back in Serie A
Romero.
last season, which is Romero. That guy's a player. That guy, if at some point Nuno goes to a back five with wing backs, he'll sit in the middle of that.
In the middle
back
of Sanchez
three,
and
and
Dyer,
he
yeah.
will be absolutely superb, mate. So, lots to come from Spurs this season, guys. I think they're getting the top six personally. Anyone else? Anyone to add to the mix?
I hear that. I just think that your wide players, I know Moore and Bergwijn, and the bios will hate me saying this, but your wide players need to chip in with at least 10.
Yeah, that's my problem with Bergwijn. That's my problem. I haven't got the same problem.
Off the top of my head, but you can't just Harry Kane goals have not been enough in general. You know, Son always has a purple patch. Have we ever heard of Mora Bergwijn getting 10, 15?
Mora's done it before. Mora scored 15 in his.
But it's only been one or two. But they all need to.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's my problem with
Has
Bergwijn.
Hill played yet?
Sorry.
Has Hill played the Spanish guy?
He played. Yeah, he played in the Europa League. He played in the Conference League, and you know what? To be fair to him, he was absolutely unreal. Like I got excited watching him. So I want to see him in the Premier League.
What is he? Is he a wide man or a central player?
Do you know what? He's traditionally a left winger, but he can play as a number 10 more centrally. He loves dropping into spaces, into the pockets in between the midfield and the defense. In the game that I saw, he was constantly showing for the ball. As soon as he gets it, he's turning. He's looking for the forward pass. He's making runs in behind the defense. He was causing havoc. So I do like the look of him.
I'll tell you why I ask, because I don't think Bergwijn's good enough for the Premier League.
I don't think Bergwijn is. I've had my
poor,
problems with this guy. I've said that we should have sold him this summer. We didn't sell him. We had offers for him. Club don't want to sell him. Like the guy's had 2 years now. Like it's time to go.
You see his drip. Man's not leaving.
I know. Is he the change, bro?
He's not leaving.
He's loving life.
Do you know what it is with him? Like, I prefer Lucas Moura for two reasons. Lucas Moura is a better goal scorer, and when Lucas is not scoring, he does a lot for the team. Whether it's pressing, whether it's breaking up play, making tackles, getting assists, he does a lot for the team. Bergwijn doesn't do that. And when Bergwijn is not scoring, he's doing nothing. And the thing is with Bergwijn, he misses chance after chance after chance.
That's what I was about to say. Like,
do you think he daydreams? Maybe it's just me, but I watch him. Not off the ball. I feel like he doesn't realise
what to do. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I see it as well.
Off the ball, he just. And I agree with you. I'd much rather Lucas Moura, because Lucas is thinking, press, tackle, don't give the guy space. Bergwijn is he's in his own head, man. I'm done with that guy.
But he started the season bright. I think maybe just
he had an okay game against Man City. He had an okay game, but then Watford, the last game, he was absolutely piss poor. And then Lucas comes on. Comes on. I think he came on like the 60th minute, and it's like this is what we needed from the start. Energy on that side.
I agree.
See, go back to the City game. Lucas had City on toast, mate. They didn't know what to do with him.
Lucas had you know what I was saying? That I thought that was one of Lucas's best games I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, it was great.
I agree. Right,
and he's capable of that.
City, that's just another proof. If you have a go at City, they don't like to be jabbed and rocked. Do you know what I mean?
I've been saying that for 18 months, Bobs. If you're brave against City, you get something. I've been saying that for a long time. But,
we've beat them many a time, so it's minor, man.
Yeah, but Jerry, when we beat them, we don't get nothing, bro. It don't mean nothing.
No, but we're talking about City here. We beat them countless times. So come on, let's give our team credit, please.
Listen,
Thank you.
I'd rather City beat us every time and we win the
Nah,
league.
we're not talking about league though. We're talking about beating City, and we beat them many times. That's all I said, bro. That's all I said.
I digress.
right, guys,
Alright,
just before we wrap it up, I want you to give me the best signing of the transfer window and the worst signing of the transfer window. So we'll start with you, Jerry.
So who we fit?
Best signing.
Uh,
He just arrived in Manchester. I've seen the tweet. He's here. He's at the training ground. There's nowhere to start but CR7, man. I mean, just a couple. Was it last week Friday?
United say, Viva
Ronaldo. Hey, listen. You see next week
Why did I
Saturday.
ask this question?
I can't wait for that.
Come on.
Yeah, Ronaldo, man. Come on, it has to be. It has to be. Like,
That's your best one. What's the worst one?
Worst. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go for Ben Scheidt. Yeah,
I was gonna say that as well. Yeah,
50 million. Obviously,
down
English
the
tax.
drain.
I get the English tax, but Ben White, if you're gonna spend 50 million on a centre back, it doesn't make sense. You should have just kept David Luiz. At least he's got a bit of leadership qualities in his game. But for me, Ben White, the Brentford game, he was shocking. He got scared of Lukaku, had COVID. Obviously, we hope he recovers. But for me, yeah, Ben White is just uninspiring as a fan base to sign him as your centre back for that amount of money.
Shout. That's a good shout.
Yeah.
So it was always going to be CR7. Bobs will back you up on that. So Ash, your top and worst signings you've seen in the summer?
Do you know what? Everyone's going to say Ronaldo. I kind of don't want to say him.
Say it, man. Say it, man. Don't be a liar.
Do you know what the thing is? Is for me, I expect Ronaldo to come in and bang 20 goals minimum. That's what I. Huh?
That ain't no problem.
That's what I'm saying. So for me, I kind of expect that.
Okay.
So I don't know. Do you know what? I'm gonna be bold here. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Romero. Yeah. And then the worst signing,
Romero.
Yeah, Christian Romero.
Let him back his club, bro. Let him back his club, Jerry. He's not back his club.
Why are you laughing?
The best.
Why are you laughing?
The best signing of the window is Romero.
Yeah, why is that funny?
I'm sorry, man.
Why is that now? Why is it funny though?
It can't be, man. I'm sorry. It can't be.
No, but why is that funny?
You don't want it to be. You don't want it to be. That's not the same as saying it can't. You could. You never know.
Bro,
say for example,
bro, the
Spurs,
thing is, you got to realize he's no scrub.
Four.
You know, he was the best defender at the Copa America. Yeah, he was the best defender in Serie A last season. He's no scrub.
Where's he from? Where's he from?
Argentina.
Country. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, it's fine, man.
So I'm going to go with him. And then the worst
Listen, I'll tell you what, just back you up. Any man that can sit alongside Nicolas Otamendi and still win a Copa gets my vote, mate.
Now, he was brilliant in that, especially in that final.
He was
unreal. So I'm going to go with him. And then worst signing, I'm going to go Jaden Sancho.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
Wow.
Shots fired.
Oh, my days.
Shots fired.
Wow. Ow.
Because I'm going with value for money for 75 million. I don't think he's going to be what you guys expect.
72. Let's get that right.
We'll wait and see it. I could be wrong. But we'll wait and see.
Unbelievable.
After saying Romero, you know, and I backed you.
Bob's got done dirty, man.
Wow.
Right, Bobs, come to you, mate. Come to you after them revelations. I don't know any of us are ready to carry on with this conversation after that, but we'll come to you anyway, Bobs.
Do you know what? Listen, CR7. Do you know what? He's 36 years old. We all know the seriousness. He's not going to be running under wing, but he's a centre forward, fox in the box. However, he's the best signing. He's the best player in the Premier League right now. Don't care. I'll happily come outside and chat to anyone about that. He's the best signing because after all these other clubs winning trophies, at least we can sign him. Do you know what I'm trying to say? The worst signing, I'm gonna say Odegaard.
Ooh.
I think he'll do well, you know.
Yeah, I think he's all right.
I was gonna say Jerry's. I was gonna agree with Jerry Benjamin Shite, but Jerry listed so many points. The only point I'd add to that was just that you need a leader at the back, you know. And for Arsenal, he's not that guy. He's a good player, but he's not that guy. He needs someone to talk to him. God only knows they'd probably wish Tony Adams was 20 years younger, or whatever. I'm gonna say Odegaard because they were linked with, was it Buendia? James Maddison initially. Now you've got Emil Smith Rowe and you've got Odegaard competing for the number 10 role or in the hole, whatever you want to call it. There's only 1 year separating both. There's 12 months separating them though, and I just think in that position in the middle of the park, you've got boys. You've not got experience. You've not got people that have kicked the ball. You can talk about Odegaard's past with Real Madrid being on loan. There's no serious. Odegaard's not really looking at Ben White, tackling that, demanding the ball, is he? He's not going to be like, give me the ball. And to be honest, he looks like a player that likes to hide from the 3 games that I've seen from him.
No, he does. You are right.
And I just think it didn't make sense. Makes sense for him. He's going to London. He's a young boy. You know, put himself in the shop window. Good couple of seasons. But I just think, to answer your question, Steve, I think him, because for Arsenal, that's not what they needed. They should have pushed the boat. Listen, if you're going to spend 50 Great British pounds on Ben White, 70 million for Maddison shouldn't have been a problem. And if you think about 70 million for Maddison, sounds about right. English, couple of trophies.
Would he go there? He wouldn't go. It's not sensible to go there, is it?
But it's not sensible. But do you know what you do, Steve? You financially, you make it happen. Do you know what I mean? You convince him and say, look, you convince him, or you pay him a wad of money. You know, that's what big clubs do, Steve. You know.
I know. Mate, we did it in the, we did it for everybody in the 90s. So, no, it's a good shout. So, Rack, your best and worst, please.
Best.
Go on, Rack. You know you want to say it.
Well, Liverpool aren't going to feature in either of these because of the lack of transfer activity. But I think that Lukaku makes Chelsea potentially a title challenger. I think without him, they're not, and so he takes them to the next level, and he'll be there. And because of him, they'll be in there or thereabouts. So Lukaku, signing of the summer. Worst signing of the summer.
Be careful now, right? Be careful.
United fans aren't going to like this.
Sancho.
But no. Champions League Varane. Champions League Varane. No. But wait. But just because.
Get out of here, man. Shit, man.
You know what? I want to see it, man. I want to see it from him because at Real Madrid he's been alongside Sergio Ramos for a number of years, and Ramos is obviously the more kind of vocal, more leader, and it'll be interesting to see how that partnership forms. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Varane is talented, but it's a question mark for me, and
I understand why people have the reservation.
No, but the question was worst signing of the window.
That's what he said, right?
That doesn't make sense.
No, but relatively speaking, you're calling him Champions League Varane.
Wait, right.
He's got four Champions League.
I know, but he can't change his name.
That's his name, man. 14 trophies. Listen, the Champions League Varane is because that's what Pogba gives him. It's a nickname amongst all his peers, his friends.
Yeah. Of course.
However, I get what you're saying because I didn't believe he was coming. Asti, I didn't believe it. I was just like, it's just another Sergio Ramos situation. I just think that game against Wolves, he really showed. I wouldn't say it was a master class.
You saw the levels from what we had.
Yeah, you saw the difference. From a Lindelof to him. To say worst signing,
Wolves missed loads of chances in that game.
They did.
But Wolves will do that to any team at Molineux, though. We need to remember that.
They did that to Spurs.
Yeah, they battered us. They absolutely battered us.
Yeah, I remember that game.
So And I hear what you're saying though, but for Worst, no, I thought it was good
Impossible.
value for money.
I
We
can
we
hope.
got
I live in
him
hope.
we got him for less money for Ben White. You
There
know
you go.
Sure.
how much?
Yeah,
did
but
you
So,
buy
the thing is, the thing is, if I say Ben White
35.
is like, he's probably not going to be. He's not a £50 million player, so I don't expect him to be a £50 million player, even though they may have paid it for him. I think if Varane comes in and flops, you're talking about a player who's heralded as being world class, and if he
You're
doesn't
about to
live
say
up to that
Champions
billing,
League winner,
then
though,
it'll be a
weren't
bit
you? You're about to
embarrassing.
say
But we'll
that.
see. We'll see. Listen. At the end of the season, we'll all find out who's right or wrong. And
but
I've
what,
made
what about
fooling fun of my face.
what's his name? Aaron Ramsdale. Why are we not
Hang
mentioning
on,
that?
hang on. Guys,
Sorry,
you stole
Steve,
my
sorry.
thunder.
I'm
Right,
sorry.
so it's my turn now. Thanks very
Go on,
much,
Steve.
Jerry.
Go
I
on, Steve.
appreciate that. I can't split the comments that you made and the comments that Ash made. I think both Ronaldo and Romero, respectively, for their clubs, could be massive signings. So I'm going to dead heat those two guys because I think that's the defender Spurs have been crying out for to change things for them. And obviously Ronaldo's Ronaldo. The worst signing of the whole window, and I take back everything I said about Arsenal, including they can't be relegated because of this signing. Who on God's green earth sanctions a deal for up to £30 million for Aaron Ramsdale, who's been relegated 4 times? Tell me, because I can't see it.
Aye. Do you know what though? He might not get that much game time. That's the only thing.
So why spend 30 million quid on him then? Do you know
No, as
that?
in the Prem, I
Guys,
don't think he's going to get much game time. I think he'll play.
so,
Actually, they're not even in any European club. He'll probably
they're
play.
not.
He'll
So
probably play League Cup and FA Cup.
Onana or Ajax.
He can't over.
He's available to play
million.
from December, and he's £6 million, and they're
6
going to spend
million,
30
Steve.
million on Aaron relegated Ramsdale. I don't get that.
I think he'll come in first choice, because Leno doesn't look convincing.
Over Leno though.
Yeah, man.
but
There's
to
a
be
reason
honest,
why they spent that much money. Like they really want him to be the number one. It's in his
I
contract.
don't know if he's going to overtake Leno. That's the thing.
But Leno wants to leave.
Leno's got a mistake. Leno's got a
I'm
mistake
saying
in
this
him,
right
mate.
now. If he listen, you heard the report. He was demanding. He was very verbal. He had them organized, blah 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 and stuff. If he does that for all the games he's playing, and Leno keeps making a mistake, you've got to ask the question: what am I here for? What have you paid the money
If you're
for?
getting dropped by Aaron Ramsdale, that's embarrassing.
But you ask that question. Look at the club they're at. You've got to look at the club they're at, because at the end of the day, the club is basically have sold Emi Martinez, don't know why, for less than they bought Leno, and they went and bought a number 2 relegation keeper that was valued more than Leno. And also, you've got to look at the question of who is sitting in these boardrooms and someone's putting a pen at the person saying, "Get me Ramsdale."
Yeah, they really wanted it. They really wanted it. It doesn't make sense.
And listen, no disrespect to Ramsey. Listen, for him and his family, probably the best career move.
Respect,
he's going to be a millionaire now. Fair play to the guy. He probably gets into England squads by default. But I just think Onana at 6 million, you could have even tickled West Brom for Sam Johnston. You could have even tickled Burnley for Nick Pope. There's better technical.
But you know what it is, Bob?
keepers.
Bob, it's like going into sports and soccer and giving them £140 for a pair of Lonsdale trainers. It's so underwhelming, mate. It's absolutely mental, isn't it?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's spot on, man. That is spot
Scamsdale,
on.
isn't it? Aaron Scamsdale. It's a scam. Do you know what I mean? Like, I listen. It's so Arsenal, though, isn't it?
Oh my God!
It is. It's crazy. And the funny thing is, right? God's honest truth. Even if you were playing, if you were playing FIFA career mode, and you were Celtic or Rangers or any Championship team, you don't even buy him. Do you know?
No.
Joe Hart's at Celtic right now.
No, Bob, you delete him. You don't not buy him, you delete him.
There you go. Joe Hart went to flipping Celtic, free transfer.
We sold him for 1 million.
Was it 1 million? I beg your pardon. Well, sorry, I beg your pardon. But there you go. Like Arsenal could have done with him for 12 months. Do you know what I mean? Like Ramsdale. But listen, he might prove us all wrong. I hope he does.
I hope he relegates Arsenal to
Yeah.
add to his career. You see the English, I don't even think he gets in because Nick
He
Pope's
doesn't.
back.
You got Sam Johnston,
Yeah, Nick Pope's
Um,
back, Dean Henderson, and Jordan Pickford. He
Jordan
ain't getting
Pickford.
in.
But this is what I'm saying to you. Look at the club we're talking about. Are you trying to tell me someone didn't have a sheet of paper with a pool of names? And are you trying to tell me when they were brainstorming, red pen, Ramsdale, boom, go get me seconds. He's not even in. To be fair, he's not even in. Listen, the biggest disrespect I can give him is that Championship clubs weren't trying to buy him, and a whole Arsenal have said we'll give you up to 30 million for this guy. He must be good at training. He must be.
It's the English. It's the English quarter as well. I think they don't because I think Saka's the only England.
Homegrown quarter.
Yeah, so
Oh,
they
but
sold.
you could have for financially.
Saka don't count because Saka's how old? 19, 20?
Oh, shame.
You have to be over 21.
Yeah, over 20. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So
Even so, £30 million is a lot of money. Right, guys, before we go, bits and bobs, tell us what you're up to, where we can get you.
Oh, listen, YouTube bits and bobs, weekly content of the weekend wrap up. Also, I'm blogging now. I'm writing now, guys. So bits and bobs on WordPress, and yeah, I've got a piece coming out tomorrow. It's going to be about Scotland, so hopefully I can make it interesting. But yeah, man, subscribe to me on at Twitter at bits and bobs _ yeah, and then obviously thanks for having me again, man. Cheers, Steve.
Cool. Right, we went through this with other guys so they all know. Is everyone here available next Friday?
Next Friday, yeah.
Should be about.
Cool. Right, just hang on when we go off air because I want to run something by you. For those of you that have watched and added comments, muchas gracias, superb. Thank you very much. It keeps the energy going in the room, and it's been a blast. We've had a laugh. We've laughed at Aaron Ramsdale. We've laughed at Varane being the worst signing in the transfer window. I still can't figure that one out, but there you go. It's all been good. Take care, guys, and we'll see you next Friday.
Take care.
Yes.
peace.